Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the offense edition of the Duval Dive Draft Breakdown. This is Kyle Nash, the student of the game. Obviously, the intro for both this and the defense episode should feature Travis Hunter because it appears he's going to play both. Crazy stuff. But whether it's him, offensive linemen, running backs, whatever it is we're looking at, I'm not going to do it by myself. We've established I'm not a great scout, but you know who is? My guy, my personal champion, Big Cat Country, Travis D. Holmes. What's going on, my guy?
Hey, bro, I'm doing well. I appreciate the great intro, though. Like, you did disappearing that for a second. We came back, and I'm like, voila, let's go.
I was embracing my inner John Cena. Da, 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 there it is. No, I at least I didn't turn heel yet. No, but listen, all that being said, I mean, one guy who definitely could arguably have turned heel in the eyes of many would be one James Gladstone as the GM, because there's a reason we're talking about Travis Hunter twice here heading into this. I mean, obviously this is the offensive part of the episode of the breakdown for the draft. We talked about Travis Hunter for the defense as well, but I think there's going to be a lot more depth here. Travis, you and I agree at this point, even though my initial readings would be that he played more corner. It's obvious the Jags disagree with me. They're going to have him play an awful lot of receiver, I feel like.
I mean, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'm going to say they're going to play him more at receiver than at corner. But in all honesty, it might be very close. It might be the same. But as I said on the defensive episode, I believe it's probably going to be closer to that 80 to 85% for both offense and defense if they truly want it to look like it looked in Colorado, as Liam Cohen said. So should be.
By the way, you don't mean 80% offense. You mean 80% of the snaps on that side of the ball.
On both sides of the ball.
Right, correct. Which is nuts to me. But hey,
yes.
What was it?
But this is also for the guy. This is for the guy who already played 85% of the offense and defensive snaps combined for Colorado last year, and there are more snaps in the college football game than in an NFL game.
For context, too, when I was working with Big Cat Country, and on the Night Shift YouTube channel, you could see me ask this question of Matt Leinart, former USC / Arizona Cardinal quarterback, and one of their correspondents, one of their hosts for their main Big Noon kickoff shows. I say, Matt, you are a former college athlete. What is this that Travis Hunter's doing? That dude stopped and tried to comprehend what I had just asked him. And he's an athlete, man. I forget the precise response, but it's if he as a former college athlete is just as dumbfounded as I am, maybe there's hope. I just don't know, Travis.
I mean, I think we all are, but to Travis Hunter, receiver Travis Hunter. We've already talked about the cornerback Travis Hunter. So let's get into who he is, and then let's just look at the highlights from like this guy makes plays out of nothing. That is a 5-yard catch that all of a sudden becomes a 30-yard play because he just is that dude. He's just that athlete. He is good at contested catches. He is great at catches that probably shouldn't be made. Some people compare him to Odell Beckham Jr. Others compare him to Chad Ochocinco Johnson. Other people want to compare him to Justin Jefferson. I don't really know, if I'm being honest with you. But at the end of the day, what do all those people have in common? They're great freaking receivers, great at running routes, great at catching the ball, great at just dogs of the game. And I'm here for whatever it is that he becomes. Hopefully, they get the right people in his ear and continue working with him to try to get those more efficient routes and just to be a little bit quicker in and out of those breaks and things of that nature. But overall, you're talking about a guy who is so successful. And I do mean so successful. For the audio listeners, we're looking at a Travis Hunter 2024 success chart by route. And green is good. And if green is good, then this boy is way more than just intangibly rich. He is absolutely wealthy intangibly. Like, because he can run the route, every single route. he can run every single route that exists. It is literally all green arrows right here. This is, please do not stop. Just pass, go, keep going. Like, That is Travis Hunter as a
Give him a lot more than $200, Travis Holmes.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That is someone who is like he had an 89.7 receiving grade, which was third among all receivers with at least 500 snaps. 88.8 overall offensive ranking, which was fourth in the Power Four conferences. Like offensively, you're talking about someone who is just dominant as a receiver, probably the best receiver in this draft class, while also being, if not the best, one of the top two cornerbacks in this draft class.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be James Gladstone and saying the man praises, but the praises deserve to be saying, man. How do you feel about
apparently he's good enough to raise up a quarterback that was drafted in the 5th round. So no, obviously, man, listen, I started waxing poetic on this possibility before it was cool, I dare say. I wrote about it on Fans for Sport Network. I preached here on the Duval Dive. I want a package called a reverse red zone, meaning whenever the field is deep, I want Travis Hunter on the outside. I want De'Ami Brown on the other side. I want PTJ in the slot. Let's attack this thing. And if everybody drops back, guess what? NTN's good enough a player that he might find an opening out there somewhere underneath if we're all in trouble. The only thing you're missing is Evan Ingram, which, I mean, okay, cool. Brenton Strange is still there. That's fine. Maybe it's a max protect and he'll block. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. But you know what I do? What I do know? That's going to be an amazing package when it happens, and it may actually be real.
And it's just wild to me that the Jacksonville Jaguars happen to have a general manager who's able to make this deal work. And again, if you read The Athletic, the New York Times piece from Mike Silver, it talks about the fact that this draft deal, this trade package has been in the works and has been essentially confirmed and like mapped out already since April 7th. And I'm sorry, April 7th. That means for the last 3 weeks, James Gladstone has had this thing for the most part. He's known that Travis Hunter was who he was, quote unquote, hunting, and just been working the media. And as someone who is both a fan of this team, but also someone in the media who is being played, I'm like, yo, I don't like that. But also, but also game on. Like I got you. Like I fully understand it. I a game recognized game. I'm here for it. But like the national media, they think this is who James Gladstone is. They think Kyle from Road Trip is James Gladstone because he's this young man, and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna get over on him. Like this is just like draft day all over again. Nah, bro, that ain't James Gladstone. That is James Gladstone. That is a boss. That is a silent assassin. I am here for it. The fact that he made this thing happen with no leaks, and not just that, but also getting the information out via whatever improper channels and agents and everybody else. Who the Jaguars would be interested in, and in reality, they knew who they wanted from day one, and it was absolutely Travis Hunter. Bravo.
James Gladstone may write a New York Times bestseller one day. That's the thing that could happen. I'm pretty sure he's read Sun Tzu, Art of War. Matter of fact, if I ever get the opportunity, I'm going to ask him that. Anyways, so let's go to the next pick, man. We're out of. And by the way, shouts to DJ Delphonic on Twitter for giving us the fun picture action there for us to do the comparison to. And hey, it's funny enough to get us to talking about somebody reading Sun Tzu's Art of War. It is what it is. But speaking of the Art of War, let's take things to the trenches for the Jags' next pick. Obviously not literally the next pick, because this is where they got one of their first defensive players that we've already talked about already in the previous episode of the Duval Dive. But this was their next offensive pick that they did immediately after with picks 88 and 89. 89 was guard Wyatt Millam. Tell me what you saw, Trev.
Hey, man, he was freaking dominant. Like, he was really dang good as a tackle, but he's not going to be playing tackle. But he was, tied for seventh among FBS offensive tackles in pass block efficiency. It was 99.1%. He had just 6 pressures, no sacks, and 356 pass blocking attempts. He generally was really dominant in the run game, and ever so often he would get a little bit off kilter in the pass game. Playing offensive tackle, which was going to be something that was probably going to be solved by him playing guard, honestly, because when he gets his hands on you, it's a wrap. Like
Yeah.
legitimately, if he gets his hands on you, even Abdul Carter, when they played again in that game, Abdul was pretty silent for a good portion of that, especially if you're talking about in the run game. He was a mover at offensive tackle. So the move inside to guard is actually maybe very beneficial for him, but he may need some time earlier in the offseason just to acclimate to that move. I've talked to many Jaguars fans. They'll bring up the Senior Bowl because that was one of his first times playing guard, and he had a rough go of it in the one-on-ones and things of that nature. But overall, the film supports, man. This dude is probably going to be very good in the rundown specifically, and I think that's going to give him a leg up on someone like an Ezra Cleveland, and I'm maybe even someone like Pat McCarry from Baltimore, who I know is kind of penciled in as that right guard. But right now, if he's going to be as dominant as he's shown us his ability to be in college, and he can transpose that to this Jacksonville Jaguars roster in the early parts of camp, I think they'll be willing to give him some time as far as that pass protection piece is concerned, because they want to be able to be efficient from guard to guard. So I'm a fan of the pick so far, man. I truly am.
Well, let me add this into for you as well. Ezra Cleveland has suffered some sort of injury where he's not necessarily missed time, but has been relatively limited. Him coming in, a little bit of load management is a big deal. We don't want it to be so bad that, Willem comes in, they're running the football. I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen here with this guy.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least. But listen, guard was a need with Scherf retiring. They've already upgraded with 4 guys. I never understood the people that said, why did you trade for Travis Hunter? You need offensive line. They got 4 of them already. Now, defensive tackle, separate conversation. We touched on that in the defensive episode.
Yes.
But good gravy. How many offensive linemen do you want, people? So all that to say,
all of them.
Well, fair. But that being said, listen, I'm with you. This bolsters the offensive line. And I think a point that I got from friend of the show, T. Wiggs, Tony Wiggins, Locked on Jaguars, Locked on NFL. You don't see this much shakeup in a position room very often. And that O-line looks completely damn different. You can have an entire starting lineup with the new guys brought in. It's mind-blowing-ish, dude. It's crazy.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the third center option that they're bringing in, and we will. But just to wrap up Millum, like, again, I didn't even get into all the other advanced data. Like, the fact of the matter is, I'm telling you what the tape shows me, and what the advanced data all matches it. Like, he rated as in the 97th percentile and better in both Pro Football Focus's pass and run blocking grade. No other rookie interior offensive lineman had those types of supporting numbers. 92.9 PFF pass blocking grade on true pass sets, which is like not play action, not those that basically like elongated plays, but just true passing, straight dropbacks. And he didn't allow a single sack in 3 seasons in those scenarios.
Wow.
That is a solid, and that was at tackle.
Yeah.
How much better would he probably do at guard? Like, if he can make that transition reasonably soon in the early parts of camp, I do have some questions on, like, I don't think guys that are currently penciled in are necessarily going to have an easy go of this. Let's say it in that way, based on what they've shown.
Guard is different than tackle, because with tackle, there's a lot more thinking that has to happen, because that extra second or 2 before contact that you get on the outside edges of the line is just enough to screw things up royally if you're not confident, if you don't make the correct read on something, right? Because defensive ends or whoever it is are usually lining up way wider. If you're in the interior, if somebody blitzes, you could see it a mile away, because you're that close to it all. Or they step into the A gap, and then you definitely know, right? There's just so much less. I don't want to say there's less thinking like he's a dumb guy. I don't mean like that. But there's less time to overthink is what I really mean to say. And that instinct, if this dude has the instinct, because he apparently has the size, if he has the instinct over the IQ, that move to guard would be a good thing to account for it.
Hey, man, to my resident offensive lineman, I shan't try to correct you anywhere here, bro. I'm here for it
on this. That's right.
Yes. Let's get to the next one. Mr. Bashal Tootin, running back. This is going to be a good one.
Round 6. This is where I get you your Bucky Irving, Justin.
Okay, all right.
Liam Cohen gets his Bucky Irving with Bashal Tootin from Virginia Tech. Tootin is like, he's just over 200 pounds, not the biggest running back in the world, but he had the fastest 40 time at the combine.
All right.
Speed on demand. There are some issues in his tape if you watch him from last season, but he is a big play running back. He gives you a little bit of that Bucky Irving solid vision for a running back. I think he can be Jacksonville's version of that.
That is friend of the pod, Jamal St. Cyr, discussing Bashal Tootin a month before the draft, when he was Team Tootin. He wanted Bashal to be an addition to the Jacksonville Jaguars roster when he thought that he would be a 5th to 6th round draft pick, and the Jacksonville Jaguars ended up getting him in the 4th as he rocketed up draft boards after that great combine performance. Speaking of that great combine performance, for those of you who don't know, hey man, he on running backs at the combine, Tootin ranked first in the 40-yard dash, first in the 10-yard split, vertical jump, and tied for first in the broad jump. Like, he's not just fast running a 4.32 40-yard dash. He's also super explosive. And that is just, yeah, if that's something that you want, if you're looking for explosive plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars offense, I think you probably you're going to the right well there for sure. And looking at Bashal Tootin. Now, we talked about it on the last episode that he obviously needs to work on his fumbles. I believe he had 9 fumbles in the past 2 seasons combined.
Not great, Bob.
Right, but very many running backs have had fumbling issues in college, and then they've been able to get that coached out of them with NFL coaching and in different programs. So that's one of my least concerns. I mean, that's the Tank Bigsby situation. That's the Travis Etienne situation. And now we see that those guys don't necessarily have fumbling issues anymore. So fingers crossed, you can get the good without having that issue. And I think this is going to be a very solid situation for Liam Cohen to have 3 to 4 backs to kind of work with. Whew, Lord, I love it, man. What did you see from Tootin?
I mean, by then, a number of the guys I would have picked over him were already gone. The RJ Harveys, various other players. I'll put it that way, so I don't have to look it all up and be all like, I don't know. He got picked ahead of Ollie Gordon. That's all I'm talking about. But the punchline's this, Travis Holmes. I said what I said. I declared Ollie Gordon overrated some time ago. Okay. That being said, Jamal St. Cyr, of course, mentioned him being a little undersized. I'll put it this way: when you could explode like that, that cancels a lot of that out. That means there is a small margin for error. You need to smother that fire quick, or it's going to find the powder keg and explode. So,
which is funny because Jamal, and I've had this conversation with Jamal offline actually since the draft. So, Tootin is literally nearly exactly the same weight and size of Travis Etienne, which I thought was very funny. So when he's like undersized, I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, but also not really. Like,
that's a good point.
In that way, he's kind of just a direct competition for much cheaper to Travis Etienne.
By the way, which is exactly what I wrote in my assessment, my fansfirstsportsnetwork.com article.
So I think it's going to be really interesting. I think the team is obviously still going to have these, they hold Travis Etienne in high regards. So I don't think it's one of those situations versus if you can get this explosive guy who runs a 4.32 40. And why not? Why wouldn't you? What if I want to have Travis Etienne and Tootin on the field at the same time? I could do that. Like, that just feels chaos, like chaotic, and I love it. You know what I mean? Like, that's organized chaos for Duval County, and I'm here for all of it. But so at the end of all of it, I'm only saying whether or not they choose to pay Travis Etienne in the future or not for the 2025 season, at least as it currently stands. He has those options available from both of those guys, and I'm here for all the more weapons for this Jacksonville Jaguars team to be more explosive. So great job. I approve of the pick. It wasn't my favorite pick because, again, I wanted RJ Harvey. Didn't think he was going in the second round.
Come on. No one had the second round. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean, neither did James Gladstone. So yeah, but
I
nevertheless,
think
I
even
am
Kansas State's DJ Giddens was gone. So I'm like, this is what you had, dog. There was a run
also
on running
fair.
backs at one point. I mean, it was what it
Also,
was.
that is dang fair. Like, but it's going to be a real fun conversation talking about this running back room throughout this offseason and mini camp and such, because we haven't even gotten into the other running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars that they drafted. Yes, folks, they did double dip with Hines-Allen, and he might have a much more direct route to getting more snaps than even Tootin. So we'll get into that later. Stay tuned.
So after Tootin's name was put in, 3 rounds later, the Jags get around to getting more offense in the form of center Jonah Monheim of USC. Now, I know Travis is going to be a little frustrated because he seems to be more of the same as a dude who's mobile and isn't necessarily an angry lineman that's a people mover necessarily. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. I'm guessing here.
I mean, you pretty much you hit it right on the head. Like, I have a type that I love. If you're talking O-line play, now again, as much as I consider myself a good scout, I do not consider myself the great scout for O-line play, and I generally lean on my resident offensive lineman sitting to the left of me. I'm sorry, to the right of me on the screen. But nevertheless, I have a type, and my type is I want a mauler. I don't generally love the guys who are shielding guys and pushing them to the right, pulling them to the left. I want the guys who are just dominant road graders. And Monheim is not that, which is fine. Like, if you get the job done, you get the job done. He's a very good pass protecting, center prospect. He's had 18 games at right tackle, 12 games at center, 12 games at left tackle, 4 games at right guard. Like, he's had a lot of experience. And the way that Pro Football Focus put it, and actually, why am I talking? I can just show you guys. They had him as a versatile player in the draft, logging more than 800 snaps at left tackle, right tackle, and center. 400 snaps at guard. It's a lot of versatility, and the Jaguars front office, they love versatility because that means that injuries and depth is not much of an issue as far as in the middle of the season when those injury situations happen. You can kind of just shift guys all over. Monheim gives you the ability to be a swing guard. He gives you the ability to be a swing tackle or a center prospect and kind of save you a roster spot. So for a 7th round draft pick, I fully understand why they did it. They could potentially have 3 center options on the roster at one time, just having him on that line.
And it's interesting. You're still frustrated. Despite all of that, I understand your frustration that no one will be using a Ludacris song for his soundtrack anytime soon, according to that. Move, get out the way.
Yep.
Right. No. But yeah, I agree with you. I think this is fine depth for the position. And listen, this is what you were looking for. Why didn't you get alive? There's 2 of them. There's 6 total with free agency. Stop griping. Goodness gracious, Duval. Anyway, so yeah, with that in mind, something you and I didn't think would happen did in the next pick, and we'll get into that shortly. Nobody had 2 running backs from this squad in this draft, but here we are with Hines-Allen for the final pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 2025 draft. And Travis, I got to tell you, I hinted at it at our initial reaction on over the weekend after the draft was done. This might be my favorite pick, not named Travis Hunter. This could be an immediate replacement for Tank Bigsby. We already know it is one for Darren Johnson, in my opinion. You weren't able to get RJ Harvey. Cool. You got this dude really super cheap. I mean, tell me where I'm wrong, bro.
No, you're not wrong at all. Like, they got him in their last pick in the 7th round of the draft. In that way, he was the Jacksonville Jaguars, quote unquote, Mr. Irrelevant pick. And like the San Francisco 49ers, Mr. Irrelevant pick, he might be one of the best picks in Brock Purdy. That's the joke. But nevertheless, we kind of hinted at this earlier. And while Bashan Tootin could be a direct competition for Travis Etienne, Hines-Allen could be could be someone who's not just direct competition to Tank Bigsby for that backup running back spot, but also he could be your 3rd down guy just in general, because at this current moment in time, I think frankly, Hines-Allen probably can come onto this roster today before stepping foot on the grass and probably be the best pass protecting running back that the Jacksonville Jaguars have on their roster. And I don't think that's hyperbole at all. Like he's shown his chops in college. He's been, in PFF an 80.7 pass blocking grade in 2024. He had over 107 receptions over the past 2 years. Over 60, he had 16 rushing touchdowns in 2024 and 521 receiving yards. Like that is just wow. Like we showed you the highlight film already. He can split out wide. He's not just a guy running out of the backfield. He's a solid pass blocker also. And that's something that the Jaguars haven't had on their roster for a while. So that's going to be able to give him a true direct path to possibly earning a lot more snaps on those early downs simply because they don't have a guy who can pass block like that. And if I'm a Travis Etienne fan, for instance, in fantasy, I'm worried. Like if whether or not he's going to be on the roster or not, like let's say he's on the roster for week 1, that's fine. But I am absolutely curious about how that's going to work out. With a guy who absolutely can pass block. Like Hines-Allen is not as explosive. He's not explosive like Bashaw Tutin. He's not explosive like Travis Etienne. He's not explosive like Tank Bigsby, frankly, and just to be honest with you. But he is a good pass catcher. He is a good pass blocker. He is good at splitting out wide and catching the ball. He has 1 fumble in the past 2 seasons. So in all the ways, he is a very stable, floor-raising running back who is going to be in the right spots and do the right things. And he may not get you the home run touchdown, but he absolutely might be the one that gets you that 30-yard run and keep this ball and be efficient. And you saw anything in Tampa Bay, Liam Cohen loves efficient. he wants to stay on schedule, if nothing else. So because of that, I'm curious about how this is going to work out in camp, man. I truly am.
I think he's clearly Darius Johnson's replacement, and camp is the only thing that can convince me of otherwise at this point.
I mean, I think that's also fair, but the Jacksonville Jaguars under Doug Peterson did this thing in a little bit of a different way than I believe Liam Cohen's going to do it. So when you say he's a Darius Johnson replacement, that has certain associations assumed in it because the Jaguars under Doug Peterson only use Darius Johnson only in third downs, only in these obvious passing situations. And that's not what Liam Cohen ever did in Tampa Bay. It was Bucky Irving.
Allen can do more than that too, I feel like.
Yeah. So I only say that to say that if he is a Darius Johnson replacement, then Darius Johnson must be about to go off in the Jacksonville Jaguars running back room in 2025 had Liam Cohen been here. Like that's kind of how I look at it. Like I feel like wherever 2 running backs get the most snaps, whichever 2 that may be, are probably going to have a really dang good season like they wanted to happen with Rashad White and Bucky Irving in Tampa Bay before week 3 happened and they had the fumbling issues, and then one of them went to the doghouse, and that was a wrap. So after all of this, that is where I show for the Jacksonville Jaguars offense, man. Like again, I think Hines-Allen is probably going to have the quickest route to getting that play time, but Bashaw Tutin has the probably most explosive ability as long as he doesn't show any fumbling issues, things of that nature. So I think
Willem off the board too. I think
so that running back game. I'm just saying that running back room is stacked and it's going to be a really fun competition. Like we always thought the wide receiver room was going to be in 2024. That didn't really happen. I think that's what it's going to look like for this running back for this running back room. So we talked to you guys about, hey, this is what we thought could happen before the draft as far as the tiers are concerned. We thought offensive tackle was essential. Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli said, I don't really think it's essential.
Yeah. Well,
remember, I don't know if I agree with that.
They thought it was essential enough to address it in free agency instead of the draft. So I can make the argument that it's damn essential. That's why they took care of it first. But there's that.
Sure. And then we on the Duval dive believed that interior O-line was important. I think they absolutely agree. I might even say that James Gladstone and co probably would have put this in the essential category with the number of guys that they brought in who are now able to play interior O-line. I believe it's 6 of the guys they brought in, all 6 have the ability and experience playing interior O-line. So I think, yes, Ding, checkmate. All right, we're good there. Wide receiver, they brought in Travis Hunter. Yes, it was useful,
Yes,
and
Lord.
we got the math changer in that group. Running back, they brought in 2 running backs, one of whom is a really good pass protecting back who might be able to truly fight for time based on that alone. And the other running back in Bayshaw Tootin, who is explosive and could potentially be a replacement for Travis Etienne, depending on how camp goes and the early points, the early weeks of the season. So I think the coaching staff would probably be in agreement. Tight end was a luxury, and no tight ends were drafted. Quarterbacks were a luxury, and no quarterbacks were drafted. I think, generally speaking, I think we were kind of in agreement outside of offensive tackle. I mean, for the most part. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I don't think it was disagreement. They just addressed it differently. They addressed it with free agents rather than with the draft. And the reason why we didn't know that at the time is because they brought in versatile guys. We didn't know if they were going to swing Macari to guard. Who knows? Maybe the intention is for Macari to challenge Walker Little and Anton Harrison after all. Or maybe it was all just about which linemen were best available when they came up too. I really think that versatility piece had the biggest part to do with it when it comes to that too. But for the only thing where I feel like we were wildly disoriented with this front office, and we've alluded to it, it's defensive tackle, period.
I mean, I think that's pretty much it. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see where they land with that in Anthony Campanelli's defense, because, I mean, we are all making assumptions on what we believe they're going to do. And I think some of the additions they've made on the defensive side have shown us what they're going to do, but that's still a theory. Until they get on the field, we don't really know. And maybe they could do something totally different. Like, oh, now it makes sense. I just wasn't thinking you guys were going to do that. Cool. So we'll see what happens over the next few months. But nevertheless, that is your 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars, NFL draft, undrafted free agent, a few of the undrafted free agents and free agency period so far. But nevertheless,
still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Okay.
Nobody wins the game in the offseason. The time is now. The time is in these coming months on the grass. We'll see what happens. But keep it locked in, BigCatCountry.com. Keep it locked in, the Duval Dive. Like and subscribe. If you are listening to us right now, please help us while this thing is free. Help us with the algorithm. I promise you it's a small thing to you to click that like button, to comment, but it's a huge thing for us. If you really love the content, please help us by supporting us and doing that. But yes, BigCatCountry.com. Please save us as your favorites. Chop it up on Travis D. Holmes on Twitter, Blue Sky, etc. Where can you be found, sir?
Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Check out my work with the Fans First Sports Network, covering both the Orlando Magic and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fansfirstsportsnetwork.com, as well as my work with the Black and Gold Banneret, covering all things UCF. Make sure you check out the Night Shift podcast and YouTube channels as well, and like and subscribe, like Travis said, to the Duval Dive YouTube channel. You will definitely find it worth your while if you are among the Duval devout. So, 2025 draft in the books. The breakdown is complete for Travis D. Holmes. I'm Kyle Nash, student of the game. Until next time, everyone, class dismissed. All right.